Just because diabetes sucks does not mean that your life sucks. Hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. You guys might know me as Danica DFit or type 1 diabetes, and no matter where you know me from, I'm so happy you're here, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. So today we're talking about 7 different tips to help you overcome diabetes burnout. I swear by these 7 tips and I have no doubt that you're gonna love them too, so let's just get right into it. Because baby, diabetes is not easy to deal with and we all get burnt out sometimes. But the world continues to spin, so we're gonna figure out how to deal with it in this video. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and make sure to follow all of my social media channels. And also, if you're wondering who I am as a type 1 diabetic, I'm a violently positive one. So make sure to follow along my journey for relatability and support. All right, anyways, let's just get right into the video. So you might even be wondering, what is diabetes burnout? First of all, let's just say that it is completely normal. It is a completely normal thing to feel, but diabetes burnout can consist of anything from feeling fatigued or overwhelmed, not wanting to manage your diabetes, not wanting to do your normal daily life things. And it's pretty much just the frustration or overwhelmingness, if that's a word, of having type 1 diabetes. So yeah, that's what type 1 diabetes burnout is. You've probably experienced it many times before. I know I have in my 15 years. So here are some tips on how to deal with it. First of all, I do want to say that if you have dealt with diabetes burnout or you are currently dealing with it, it does not mean you are a failure. It is completely normal. I'd be more concerned if you didn't deal with diabetes burnout. Okay, so let's just put it out there. It is completely normal. So let's talk about some signs that you might be experiencing a burnout. So first things first, you might be not wanting to manage your blood sugar anymore. And you might think that it is such a chore to check your blood sugar, to look at your Dexcom. You also might not be wanting to take your insulin anymore. And babe, we gotta take our insulin. Okay, we gotta take our insulin. That's what we need to survive. But I get it. Diabetes burnout is so overwhelming, and being a diabetic can be overwhelming at times and very stressful. So with diabetes burnout, you might also feel really frustrated or overwhelmed by the topic of diabetes because you just feel so frustrated and overwhelmed yourself, which also causes you to feel really isolated, especially if you don't have a lot of people in your life to relate to. Because I know for me, I'm so grateful for the community that I've built, and it has made me feel so much more comfortable with being a diabetic, as I have so many people to talk to. And also, that's what my YouTube channel is for. It's for diabetics to come together and to talk about things, which is why I'm so grateful to have you here. With diabetes burnout, you also might be irritable or sad because you're so tired from managing your diabetes. Maybe let me say it again, it is completely normal. It's okay. This too shall pass. Oh, I love that saying. Also, happy Diabetes Awareness Month. This is our month, you guys. Let's rock it. I know some people get really stressed out and upset during this month because obviously we're focusing a lot on diabetes, but let me just say, I have become so positive about my diagnosis because I can't change it. So why would I be negative about it when I could be positive? And I know that's not the case for everybody, but I used to think so negatively about my diabetes. And honestly, now I'm so grateful for it because it's turned me into who I am today. And I wouldn't change that for the world. And it also makes me so grateful to connect with other people like you because I get to help you guys and I get to bring positivity to something that most people look at as something negative. But anyways, let's continue. Okay, so tip number 1 is to set small and achievable goals. This is massive because a lot of people think that they need to fix everything at once. Slow down, babe. We're not gonna fix everything at once. Let's start small. Instead of focusing on everything, choose one thing each week to improve, whether that's your hydration, taking your insulin on time, and taking your blood sugar more often. Like, there's so many different things that we can do that will ultimately lead to this one big goal that we have, but we're starting small. You're gonna be so overwhelmed if you're focusing on the big picture, babe, which yeah, totally, that's important, but let's start small. It's not a sprint, babe. It's a marathon. This also kind of reinforces the idea that when you set these small goals and you achieve them, it's so satisfying. Like, it's so satisfying where it motivates you to keep going. You know what I mean? So that's why this is a really amazing tip for overcoming diabetes burnout, is because you get to celebrate these small wins every week. And yeah, it's a win-win situation. I know for me, when I'm going through diabetes burnout, I always kind of write down the list of things that I need to work on. And I literally practice one thing each week. And it has helped me tremendously because in my 15 years, I have had quite a few phases of being burnt out from my diabetes. Tip number 2 is shift your focus from perfection to progress. Not every day is gonna be a good diabetes day. There is no such thing as the perfect diabetic. I know when I hop on Reddit, I see a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, my time in range is only 90%. And I feel so bad about myself because I'm like, babe, my time in range last week was 30, like if that. And right now my blood sugar is 18.3. And you just gotta laugh about it because sometimes diabetes can be so unpredictable. Nobody is gonna have perfect blood sugars all the time, so you need to be kind to yourself and give yourself some grace. Because we are all going through this for the first time, so what's the point in beating yourself up over every little thing? And look at bad days as learning experiences. Look back at what you can do differently, if there is anything that you can do differently. Because sometimes diabetes is just so unpredictable. Maybe you did everything right and your blood sugars were still high or still low or whatever it is. Give yourself grace and be kinder to yourself. Tip number 3 is my favorite because it's the one that's helped me the most, and it's find a good support system, whether that's online or offline. You guys know that you can always come to my page and talk to me about things and see relatable things as well. Having a community of people who are also type 1 diabetics going through the same experiences can be so uplifting, and it won't make you feel as isolated because there's so many people that you can talk to who are going through the exact same thing, or who have at least gone through the same thing, and they can give you tips and advice. I have a Skool community for type 1 diabetics who are also into fitness, and it's such a cool place to learn and inspire others about being a gym girly and also being a type 1 diabetic, or being a gym guy, or whatever you are. And so if you're interested to check that out, I'll have it linked below. Tip number 4 is to practice self-compassion and self-care. I know when I'm going through a burnout, I always journal to write down my emotions and then to be able to reflect back on it, and it has helped me so much. I also do a lot of breathing exercises and yoga to kind of calm my body down and be like, hey girl, it's okay, you're all right, don't worry about it. And I'm not gonna lie, it has helped significantly. I also always continue to do things that I enjoy no matter how burnt out I am, because I find it helps me take my mind off of diabetes, and it totally de-stresses me. Like knowing that there's so much more to life than just being a diabetic. That's my biggest reminder for you all, is there is so much more to life than being a diabetic. Say it with me now. Having a balanced life is so hard to practice, but it is so important for your mental and physical well-being. So babe, if you've got a hobby that you've been wanting to start up or get back into, go do it right now. Go do it right now, because you deserve it. Tip number 5 is that it's totally okay to temporarily adjust your goals. That's totally fine. You can aim for smaller blood sugar ranges, or you can loosen your carb counting. There's so many different ways that you can adjust your goals that will totally help you mentally. A lot of the time we'll have these really high expectations on ourselves, which is totally fine, but just understand that it is okay to dial it down a little bit. For example, I know with me, the last few months I've been really terrified of low blood sugar after 15 years. I don't know why. So instead of wanting to be in the 5s all the time, I aim for the 7s and the 8s. And that's okay. Also, a blood sugar of 7.0 is 126 for all of you American baddies. But yeah, just know that it is totally okay to take a step back for a little bit. Because babe, we are making diabetes work with our lives and not the other way around. Okay, and tip number 6 is schedule diabetes-free mental breaks. This sounds crazy, I know, but just bear with me here. Diabetes requires 24/7 attention, and it is completely okay to take breaks from that. For example, schedule a diabetes-free hour within reason every couple days. Of course, you need to have safe boundaries when it comes to this, but letting go of really strict control is so amazing for you. I promise it is probably one of the best things that I've ever done. Where maybe within this hour, you're able to do something that you really love, or you're able to relax and not worry about having to check your Dexcom or your CGM or your pump or anything like that. All right, and last but not least, if things get really bad and you really feel like you cannot control your diabetes burnouts or come out of it, talk to a therapist or counselor. There are professionals for a reason. They can also provide different tools and different support systems for you to get the resources that you need to overcome diabetes burnout. It's also important to remember that with type 1 diabetes management, motivation and discipline comes and goes. And I think it's always important to remember your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to take care of yourself? And I think that sometimes when we're burnt out from diabetes, we just need that extra push sometimes. Like, oh, I want to grow old and see my grandchildren run around. Or, oh, I want to be healthier because of my family or my passions. And I think always remembering your why is so essential for when it comes to overcoming diabetes burnout. And lastly, I want you to remember that diabetes burnout is completely normal. And whoever says that it isn't is lying to you, because absolutely it is. Diabetes burnout is temporary and it can be manageable with the right resources and the right tools. I know for me, whenever I'm feeling burnt out, I always run to my support groups and talk a million miles a minute in those groups. I just want you to remember that you're not alone, and taking small steps can make the biggest difference. Yeah, comment down below what your favorite diabetes burnout tips are, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment below what you also want to see next. Okay, bye guys. Love you.